In this video, I want to answer the question, what is a statement of work? A statement of work, often abbreviated as SOW, is a detailed and structured statement of what is required. It's often stated in terms of the work to be carried out, the products to be created, deadlines or milestones that we need to meet, and processes or procedures that we need to comply with. Most often, a statement of work is a contractual document, often appearing as an appendix to the main contract. This is because often we use a main contract again and again for multiple pieces of work, but each piece of work is different and therefore needs its own statement of work. Of course, the statement of work can include a load of other things. In fact, anything that the two contracting parties agree is appropriate to put within the statement of work. This could include things like the background to the project, specifications for the products or deliverables, or acceptance criteria or quality standards, financial measures, managerial or supervisory oversight measures, assumptions and variables, dependencies or constraints, payment terms or other contractual matters, or work locations. The intention of a statement of work is to reduce risk in your project. It does this by introducing greater levels of clarity and by setting clear expectations on one or both parties. The parties will discuss and negotiate the details that need to go into the document, and then will draft the statement of work in a rigorous and meticulous manner. To further reduce the ambiguity and to make it easier to read, often statements of work are set out in a highly structured way. In developing a statement of work, we naturally start with a work breakdown structure. And it doesn't matter what form of work breakdown structure or WS dictionary we use. We could take a product-based work breakdown structure or an activity-based work breakdown structure and still achieve an effective and rigorous statement of work. Even if you don't start with your WBS as the basis for creating the statement of work, it will always make a lot of sense to reconcile it to your WBS dictionary. And of course, we have a full video on how to create a WBS, and I'll put a link to that in the description. Sometimes a statement of work is issued as part of tender or proposal documentations alongside the invitation to tender or the request for proposal. At other times, the ITT or RFP will contain a looser specification of the work to be done, and the negotiation of the detailed statement of work will happen with the preferred bidder in the run-up to creating, drafting, and ultimately signing the contract between the two parties. As you might expect, more formal tendering processes like those used by governments or international organisations tend to prefer the former, that is, documenting the statement of work and issuing it as part of the invitation to tender or request for proposal. And also, as you'd expect, I have a full video on the tender process, which I'll also link to in the description. What I've described so far is the most common form of a statement of work, and it's also known as a detailed statement of work or a design statement of work. There are, however, alternatives. A level of effort statement of work is most commonly used for service contracts, where what matters most is the inputs rather than the outputs. Input levels might include things like staff hours, or numbers of staff provided, or the materials to be used. We might see this, for example, in the context of portering or janitorial contracts. In the project management world, many contracts for consultants or freelance contractors will also take this input-based format. At the opposite end of the spectrum to the level of effort statement of work are alternatives to the statement of work principle itself. Things like a statement of objectives or performance work statements. These are becoming more and more popular because they place the emphasis firmly on the outcomes and are pretty agnostic about how you create those outcomes and what you put in terms of levels of effort, materials, or even the standards of the materials you use. What matters is the results you get. Indeed, we often see performance-based statements of work which make no statements about the processes or procedures to be used, but only the outcomes to be achieved. Of course, in the real world, performance-based statements of work will still need to contain any mandatory compliance-based processes or procedures. As a result, the labels you will see, whether it's a detailed statement of work or an effort-based statement of work or a performance-based statement of work, mean nothing. What really matters is what is contained in the statement of work. And the contents of the statement of work are there to provide absolute clarity about what a contractual party is expected to do to contribute to a project. Please do give this video a like if you've enjoyed it or learned from it. I'll be creating loads more great project management videos for you, so please do subscribe to my channel and hit the bell so you don't miss any of them. And I'll look forward to seeing you in the next one.